各位傳媒朋友早晨，今日大家今朝嚟呢個記者會，稍後行政長官呢會先向大家發言，之後會接受大家。
Speak before answering questions because of the epidemic. Maintain social distancing and keep your masks on. Without further ado, Chief Executive. Hong Kong people, friends of the media, good morning. Today is the first time in year 2021 when I meet you. I make use of this press conference to see you all. I wish you all a healthy, prosperous year. At this moment, I do believe that the common wish of Hong Kong people is to keep COVID-19 under control so that lives can resume normal, flow of people across the border, and I make traveling outside Hong Kong will resume as soon as possible. This is our objective and we will work towards it. Starting from the second half of November, we saw a new outbreak. Now we see a decline in the number of confirmed cases. However, the rate of decline is rather slow, especially compared to the last outbreak. The number of confirmed cases in December is a record high, standing at 2,532 cases. In terms of number of cases in a single month. In the past few days, we have seen signs that the epidemic is subsiding. In the past 7 days, the number of local confirmed cases is no more than 45 cases. Local untraceable cases account for about 30% of these cases. It shows that the measures we've put in place have been somewhat effective, but it's still a long road towards full resumption of normal activities. The Secretary for Food and Health as well as the Secretary for Education have announced that the current stringent social distancing measures will be extended for another 14 days. Suspension of face-to-face classes will also have to be extended. The Secretary for Education, having heard views from principals, have introduced some flexible measures. I do notice that they've received the support of most principals. Our current measures to guard against imported cases is most stringent. As a result of that, there has been some inconvenience caused to Hong Kong people. I ask for your understanding. In this wave, in this new outbreak, we have to adopt the most stringent measures. Preventing importation of cases is very important because the pandemic globally is still severe, and a lot of people might be coming back from outside Hong Kong, from European countries. In this new outbreak, we have put in a lot of manpower and resources. I see that we have all worked together and put in our effort to make contribution to control the epidemic. This is the start of a new year. I'd like to make use of this opportunity to express my gratitude towards you all. First and foremost, the Food and Health Bureau. Professor Chen, the Secretary, has been working tirelessly in the past year. Departments responsible for public health, that is, the Department of Health, the Center for Health Protection, as well as testing centers for public health, have been working at their utmost. Everyone has been mobilized. Even dentists have been mobilized to help in the fight against the epidemic. In recent days, we have heard about small outbreak clusters in hospitals. We're very concerned, everyone is. We hope that we will all do better to protect our frontline healthcare staff. I can say that every single government department has made their contributions. Some are at the front line, some are working behind the scene. For frontline officers, it's not just the police. There are about 6 or 7 departments with public powers who have been enforcing the laws. The civil aid service, as well as the auxiliary medical service, have been fully mobilized to help. I'd like to thank a large number of retired civil servants to come back to help at just at the moment's call to come back to help us. It's not just people in the government. We have a number of collaborators working with us. I'd like to name the 4 experts who have been working with us in the past year. A number of other professors as well as experts have been joining us. I'd like to also mention our contractors. They work tirelessly to establish testing centers. There are also mask manufacturers as well as private laboratories. Very often we found them starting from scratch within a very short notice to set up mobile testing centers. I express my heartfelt gratitude towards them. Of course, the most important party is the general public. Without your help, our work will not be as effective. Going forward, we're working on every single segment that can be improved to enhance our capability to fight the epidemic. It's not just about the police enforcement actions. There is also the LCSD and the AFCD. We have issued over $305,000 fixed penalty tickets, hoping to achieve a higher deterrence effect. We have altogether conducted 1.6 million testing since the end of November. Through mandatory testing, necessary testing, and voluntary testing, we have identified 3,000 confirmed cases. It proves that such approach of target-based testing is effective. We have legislated to issue notices for mandatory testing covering over 40 blocks of buildings. We have covered about 80% of the residents of these building blocks, accounting for about 50,000 people. 80% is a conservative figure because we obtained the figure from mobile testing centers as well as temporary testing centers. Some residents might have chosen other ways to get tested, say, for example, to get the sample bottle from over 180 locations. They have not been counted. Of the 50,000 mandatory testings, we have identified about 12 confirmed cases. It shows that our work has been effective. After mandatory testing, we need to support it with enforcement. We give the incentive for those who need to be tested to get tested. We have conducted the first enforcement action targeting Jetmin at Chun. You may have heard about a supporting measure. It's a testing on sewage. That initiative started as a research, but we found that it's been very effective in identifying sites. We have enhanced testing facilities at the Hong Kong U that enables us to conduct such tests. In Choi Wen Estate Phase 2, we have made use of testing of sewage to support our mandatory testing note on Feng Chak House as well as in Kai Fai House. All our efforts aim at early identification, early treatment and early isolation to curb the spread of the virus. Recently, we have heard from a number of professors talking about tracing close contacts. That is very important. We have mobilized more manpower to do this work. Apart from the manpower devoted from the police force, we have also mobilized officers from the Immigration Department as well as the Customs and Excise Department. Responsible personnel will receive briefing from experts on how to conduct contact tracing in a more scientific way. All in all, as I said, where is necessary, we will devote more manpower and resources in every single segment in our effort to fight the epidemic. I ask members of the public to maintain social distancing, to reduce cross-household gatherings so that we can control the epidemic as soon as possible.
The floor is now open. Please raise your hand. And when given the mic, please state the media organization you represent before you speak. Mrs. Lam, good morning. I'm from Cable News. You mentioned tracing the close contact of close contacts. Do you have any target when this will be implemented? And about the group gathering ban of 2 and dine-in ban, they have been in place for over a month. And you mentioned the rate of decline in terms of the number of cases being slow. And what other measures does the government have? Will the measures only be relaxed when you have 0 cases? And about license checked, well, now a database has been set up to notify the drivers concerned. Is that an attempt to undermine the press freedom? Would that undermine the media's effort by notifying drivers in the license check process? 3 questions. In terms of contact tracing, it has always been very crucial in combating the epidemic. You may recall the use of the 4 letters, TTQI, testing, quarantine, isolation. So in terms of quarantine, isolation and treatment facilities, I would say that everything is now in place, and that's testing, tracing, quarantine and isolation. However, we can always make improvements in terms of contact tracing, but that would require every citizen's cooperation. We don't have any information about close contacts of close contacts. Only the confirmed patient can tell us, either by recalling the close contacts from memory or, say, like Professor Yun suggested, using their camera, the camera functions on their phones to shoot wherever they go, or use the Leave Home Safe app, say, whenever they take a taxi. But then in inquiring about the close contacts, how should we go about that? Should we grill the confirmed patients? That really depends on manpower and the skills in making inquiries. And we definitely need more manpower to trace the close contacts of close contacts. And I would say that these measures have a very grave impact on different industries. And for that, we have rolled out 4 rounds of subsidies. I don't think that measures can only be relaxed when the number of cases has reached 0. In fact, we adopt a strategy. We allow measures to be relaxed in 4 stages, depending on the analysis of cases, the number of local cases, and also the number of untraceable cases among the local cases. However, in the last wave, we didn't manage to relax the measures all the way to a total lift of these measures. So again, for this wave, it doesn't mean that measures can only be relaxed when the cases have come down to 0. We can take a progressive approach, and still, despite the rate of decline or the decline in number of confirmed cases, I don't think time is ripe for relaxing the measures. The number of confirmed cases have come down by 20, 30, but then at the same time, we are witnessing outbreaks in hospitals and even a large-scale outbreak in a construction site. So all in all, I would say that we'll take a progressive approach in relaxing social distancing measures. Third question is not related to fighting the epidemic, but let me say a few words on this. About the certificate of particulars of motor vehicle, it is on a public register that can be accessed by the public. In terms of inquiring about the driver of vehicles or owner of property or particulars in relation to the birth certificate or marriage certificate, one can inspect the register for a purpose, say for conveyancing, for transaction, or for a particular purpose that that allows a user to have access to the register on a need-to-know basis. However, in a normal inspection process, investigative work or doxing is not included. In the past year, I understand that indeed through the inspection of registers, personal data have been released online, amounting to doxing and causing harm to the data subject. So whilst allowing inspection of registers, we also need to prevent possible harm to the data subject concerned. And this is the question pondered by government departments concerned at the moment. So say if we set up a database allowing the driver of a motor vehicle to be notified if the particulars of the vehicle are being inspected, I don't think this is really an outrageous request. And I don't think this has anything to do with tipping off or suppressing the freedom of the press, because inspection of registers should come with a particular purpose, as I explained just now. So members of the press will still have access to registers for the purpose of inspection, following the established practices and rules. However, I should emphasize that we are not encouraging any act that may undermine or cause harm to a person's rights.
From RTHK. Question number 1. For how long would the government refuse the Hong Kong residents who are stuck in UK from returning home, which they are fully entitled to according to the basic law? Especially, you have said that the measures to prevent imported cases are now watertight. And question number 2, the Transport Department has offered a new service to car owners that will alert them if someone makes a search on their vehicles. Do you agree this sort of action from the government is not very media friendly? And will this sort of tip-off service be extended to other public services like land and company searches? And why can't the media be exempted from this if the purpose is for news gathering? And the final question is regarding recently the state media and also some local media have attacked a High Court judge for granting bail to Jimmy Lai, with some critics saying this sort of attacks actually put pressure on the judiciary ahead of an appeal hearing. Can you tell us why the government didn't issue a statement to hit back at these sort of comments? Is it because they are from the state media? Thank you.
Well, thank you for the 3 questions. First is I have just emphasized the importance of having watertight measures in ensuring that Hong Kong will not import confirmed cases from all over the world, because the COVID-19 situation is still very severe in many parts of the world. And the United Kingdom and South Africa now are two of the high-risk places because of this new variant in the virus. And so for a while, many places, it's not just Hong Kong, many places have suspended flights from the United Kingdom because of this worry. And you cannot blame those places, including Hong Kong, because the then situation was very severe when we were told that this virus was 70% more infectious. When we were told by the relevant minister in the UK government that it was almost out of control. So if it was almost out of control in the United Kingdom and the receiving places like Hong Kong, which we do have a lot of returnees from the United Kingdom, accounting for about 1/3 of arrivals at the Hong Kong International Airport. If we did nothing, you imagine, it would be putting our city at a great risk. So we have to take this measure, which was very difficult because it involves Hong Kong residents, and many of them are students or parents who have gone to visit their students and they need to come back. The Immigration Department has received about 190 requests for assistance. The government will seriously look into the situation and see whether we could make some adjustments later on. But as far as I'm aware, even the major airline flying between Hong Kong and London has suspended their flights until sometime this month. So we will together review the situation. The second question is about Transport Department, or about these so-called public registers where members of public could apply to inspect by paying a fee in most circumstances. We have to understand the purpose of allowing members of public to inspect these personal data helped by the government when that particular person came up to apply for something, whether it is a car license or they do a land transaction or they register a company. So they have these personal data with us. So as a government body, we have to be responsible in ensuring the privacy of these persons, especially of what we have seen in the past 1 to 2 years, that many people were inspecting this public register. They got hold of the personal data and they did all sorts of intimidation, doxing that would harm the people. So the administrative measures taken by the Transport Department is no more than just to alert the person that somebody has checked your personal data. Is that it? So I really don't see how this will undermine the work of the media, and hence I do not see why media should be exempted from the administrative procedure that the Transport Department has put in place. Now I can tell you that other departments which possess public registers are reviewing along the same line, whether they need to put in administrative measures, taking into account the legal provisions, as well as the nature of the registers that they are holding. Myself and the Secretary for Justice have time and again made public statements that we should respect the judiciary, we should uphold judicial independence, we should not criticize judges for their decisions without any grounds or facts, that is pure allegations. So similarly, we condemn any such personal attacks on the judges. But if there are people who want to express a view based on their understanding of the law and the facts and the evidence, then this is what the media always advocate. This is a freedom of speech. Okay, so I really would not see how these comments would put pressure on the judiciary. I understand the departing Chief Justice may be holding a press conference later today. I'm sure if you ask him, he would say the same. Every judge has taken a judicial oath, and they will not be intimidated or undermined by these comments in their impartiality in adjudicating cases on the basis of the facts and the evidence before them. So there is no worry of that sort of situation.
今日最後一位。
Last question, the one in blue at the front. Good morning, I'm from Apple Daily. Just now, Mrs. Lam, you said that the arrangement of public registry inspection will not affect freedom of the press, but indeed a number of practitioners and reporters have reflected that this will seriously undermine news gathering. And a number of reporters from the RTHK have been arrested and asked to assist in investigation by the police because of such search. This obviously has affected the work of reporters. Why is this search being tightened? You talk about some harm or some attacks. Is it because some people have been reviewed to have done something wrong and now you're trying to retaliate? Have you considered first communicating with the media before making any decisions instead of making one-way decisions? And I'd like to talk about the Commissioner for Interception of Communications and Surveillance. Mr. Sheffield said that the applications made by the police it relies on you to make judgment whether such applications are warranted. Are you concerned that perhaps maybe there will be abuse of the system and applications that are ultra-virus might have been made? Now I move on to 12 people from Hong Kong. Well, you have been talking about encouraging young people to go to the Greater Bay Area to start their career. And that's been saying that, the laws are transparent and judicial system are transparent on the mainland. However, Hong Kong people find it difficult in relation to the Hong Kong 12, find it difficult to engage lawyers. And those lawyers that have been engaged have now had their license suspended. What do you say about that? I have answered your questions in both Chinese and English. I don't see in any way how such administrative measures in relation to public register search affect freedom of the press in any way. We only notify the data subject that a search has been made about them. If you're talking about searching for particulars in relation to buildings, I don't believe that the unauthorized building works will disappear all of a sudden. So I don't understand about your allegations. Everything is done based on necessity. I think that 2 or 3 years ago, nobody would have thought that personal particulars have been weaponized. Those are not my words, but the words of the Privacy Commissioner. Well, there has been a number of cases and complaints that he would very much like to have the power to handle them, but is unable to. We have the responsibility to protect data subject, protect one's privacy within the legal framework. This doesn't deviate from our objective. I don't know how to comment on what you said. The police make investigations on a number of cases. If you have any questions, you will have to raise it with the police. Article 43 under the National Security Law empowers the government to execute a number of powers. That includes empowering the chief executive to grant applications in relation to interception of communications. We will exercise caution, and we are subject to a number of restrictions in dealing with such applications. Our work is very similar to that of the Commissioner of Interception of Communications and Surveillance. But I cannot comment and disclose information in relation to the work of the Office of National Security of the Hong Kong SAR. In relation to Hong Kong 12, they have committed serious crimes in Hong Kong. They have absconded, and it's done in an organized manner. But the matter is sub judice, so I won't comment in detail. Of course, there are differences in the legal system in every jurisdiction. Otherwise, we will not talk about one country, two system. We have the common law system in Hong Kong. Well, when people talk about going to live in another place, you have to learn about their legal system. As long as you're law-abiding, I don't see any reason why you need to worry. It is a personal choice to go to the Greater Bay Area to start your career. The Hong Kong government does not have the power to force people to go to the Greater Bay Area. What I see is that a lot of people are pioneers. They have started to go to Greater Bay Area to start their career or to set up businesses long time ago. Well, we may later talk about how their businesses have been developing in the Greater Bay Area. I wish you all a healthy and prosperous year 2021. Thank you.